There we are. Hello, internets.
Hello.
That's Shua, and Iwako's here.
Wait, I can't find your stream on YouTube. Hold on.
It's in the chat. I dropped it in the chat.
Okay, I have it now. Oh wait. Okay. Okay, I'm all set.
Nice. Okay. Hello, internets. So, we're gonna do something pretty fun for this bit of the stream. So we need to store the previous we need to store the previous versions, the previous value of what's it called? The receipt date, right? But way back in the first stream, Niwako had suggested that we actually keep track of the value over time so that we just have a log of the information. So I thought we could do that in this stream. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. And even better, the way we're going to do it, so there's many ways that we could do this. We could put stuff in Firebase, we could provision some sort of SQL thing. But you know what's even better than all those things? Just put it in a Google spreadsheet. And the beautiful thing about that is that you can easily just open the spreadsheet and see the data. You don't need any special interface. Or that is to say, the interface that Google Sheets provides is really good, you know? And I think it's very interesting. What do you think, Shua?
I'm a fan.
You're a fan? Okay. So another cheat sheet. We love our cheat sheets. So we're gonna go to Niwako's GitHub, where she has a project that has used this technology before. So the tech we're gonna use is called GSpread, and GSpread basically allows us to do things with a spreadsheet. So let's head over to our script. Oh, I want to verify that things still work. We have to modify how we launch things because we have to now do cf/notify. So I'm going to just double check that this still works. Okay, it doesn't quite still work because main is missing 2 required positional arguments. So let's fix that. Basically, this call to main here needs to pass an event and a context. And since we're not using them, we can pass none and none. Let's run it again. All right. Did I get it? Okay, there's my notification. I'm going to let the internet trust that I got it. Next, we need to install GSpread. So we'll grab it from here and paste it in here. I guess this is the wrong order. If we're keeping it in alphabetical order, it would look like this. And let's pip install. Requirements have changed location. Now in the CF folder. Okay. So the GSpread that got installed, the one that we want, is version 401. So we'll just put that into our requirements file. Okay. So far, so good?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Okay. Let's take a look at this food-py script to see how things get done. gspread.service account. Okay, so this is how we're going to have to initiate our thing, and we'll also need a spreadsheet. I'm realizing that the microphone is in the way of my coffee drinking.
I'll get.
I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that more efficiently. Ooh, I know. I could drink with my left hand. Yeah, that works. Okay. let's go to, I'm going to create a spreadsheet. I'm doing it off stream so that people don't see the contents of my Google Drive. And we'll just drag it back here. Okay, so here's our new spreadsheet. And we'll just call this USCIS receipt dates, receipt date, receipt times log. And we're going to share this with, oops, that went into the, it went into the wrong folder. Hold on, I need to move it out of this folder. My drive. Move. Okay. Let's go again, share. Okay, so we're sharing with Niwako. And we're going to share with Yushua. What's your Gmail?
SUIAN.
Actually, could you just paste it in the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
And
I'll do it on Discord chat.
okay. Thank you. And place that there. And send that. Okay. So I've granted you folks access. And the other thing that we need to do is we need to grant access to our Python script, which is running as the service account that we created. And guess what? You can, because Google Docs is also part of Google, excuse me, we can grant our service account access to this to this Google Sheet as well, which will enable it to talk to this. So let's do that. We'll share with, and we just need to paste our service account, this one here. There it is. And send. All right. So now our service account is allowed to also edit this, this file. Now, let's write some code that will update the spreadsheet. All right, so I don't know how to do it off the top of my head. We have two cheat sheets. We have one cheat sheet, and we'll probably need the documentation because GSpread has recently gone to 4.0. Whereas our old Google Sheet, whereas the cheat sheet that Niwako has for her food dashboard is using the version 3, so there may be differences. But, okay, so we basically just need to try to connect and open the Google Sheet by its key. So the key is here. Let's grab this. We're going to need this. And we'll just create a file for it up here, create a variable. Let's call it USCIS log, gsheet log equals this. And then now we just need to connect. So I think we can just, let's try to do it just this way. Import gspread and gspread.service account. And let's just hope that it uses the same Google credentials thing that we did before. So let's create a new file here. And this file will just, sorry, a new function. The function will just read the contents of the file, the Google Sheet. So read gsheet. For now, we'll just say gsheet, gspread.service account. And we just need to import gspread. Grab that. Paste that there. Okay, next. We'll comment out this bits of code here. And we'll just say read gsheet. Save that. Next step is to open a specific sheet. So GC, I think the way that Niwako does it. Okay, we need to do this first. Open by key. So Google Sheet, open by key, and the key we're going to use is our G, is the, what is it? This one up here, USCIS G Sheet log. USCIS G Sheet log. And then, if we want to test that this works, so we've granted the credentials permission to write and read. So we should be able to just use this logic right here to set a value of a specific cell. So that would be sh.update, and let's see. Let's update A1 with a value hello. And let's test our script out. CF. Okay, so no such file or directory, this stuff. It's looking for our service account file in a specific directory. So that's fine. What we need to do is tell it that the service account is actually located at Google application credentials. I wonder if this is going to work when we try to put it in the cloud function. It probably isn't. Well, problem for future shad. So we just need to pass it a parameter here. What is it? Show parameters, trigger parameter hints. Okay, so file name, default service account file name. So file name is equal to os.environ, and then we need to pass it Google application credentials. Okay, let's give it a try. Spreadsheet object has no attribute update. Oh, that's because I need to do .sheet1 here. How did Niwako do it? Oh, sh.getWorksheet. Let's do that. Let's do it the same way. WKS equals getWorksheet 0. WKS. I think we're almost there. This one should work. Oop, exception. Google Sheets API has not been used in the project before, or it is disabled. So we have to enable it. So we'll head to our project for USCIS processing times, and we need to enable the API for this project.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't it? All right. I lied the last time. I thought that it was going to work last time. Let's try again. Success. That was great, huh?
Love it.
Love it. All right. Now, the next thing to do is we need to basically make it so that every time we retrieve a new receipt date, we want to write it to the G sheet, right? So we're going to essentially need two functions here. There is get previous receipt date, which will want it to read the last row for which we have data. And then we currently have this set previous receipt date, but we're going to rename that to append previous receipt date or append current receipt date so that we can log that entry, right? So let's start by doing the log receipt date function. So we'll do it here. We'll just say log receipt date. And the log receipt date function needs to take what the receipt date is. Receipt date. Receipt. Okay. And we need to append it. So let's take a look at the API for gspread, because I think they have an append function, which will do all the work we actually need. Let's see here. Append. I could have sworn I saw it. Let me see. Gspread append row. Let's go. Stack Overflow. Oh, it's just dot. Hold on. Oh, I see how this works. So it's basically going to insert an additional row to the end of the file. Wait, no, that's resize. Wait,
Well, there's a line that says append row.
is that in the API? I didn't see it in the API. Hold on. API reference.
Oh, I see.
Models. So this is the spreadsheet model. Okay, this is the one we want. Is there an append? Oh, there's an add worksheet. So no, I don't need spreadsheet. I need worksheet model. Hold on. Worksheet. Worksheet. Almost there, I think. Here it is. Worksheet. A cell. Add calls. Add rows. Okay, this yeah, I see. Oh, here it is. You're right, Niwako. Append row.
No, no. Oh, okay.
You're
I
right.
see. Wait, how is it different from add?
So I think add rows is basically adds data to the end, adds an additional row into the spreadsheet at the end. So the sheet by default has 1,000, and I think add rows will add another one. You tell it how many.
I see.
Whereas append row, I'm hoping, we'll see what it does. We're going to test it. I'm hoping it just adds to the next empty line. And populates it with values. All right, let's go. So we're just going to say wks.append row, and the values are, so it's going to be a list then, and let's see, the values, so the first row, the first column, I want it to be now, right? I want it to be the value of now. And then the second column, I want it to be the value of receipt date. So we need to get the value of now. So that's just datetime dot now, datetime dot now. And I don't know if that's going to work. We'll just try. And receipt date. We need to import datetime. Import datetime. Okay. Log receipt date. And we need to actually now retrieve the current receipt date so that we can pass it to our log function. Save it. Run it. Object of type datetime is not JSON serializable. So that basically means that we may need to convert it to a string first, or we may have the ability to do something with this value insert value input option equals raw. Let me see what that is. The value the user has entered will not be parsed and will be stored as is. Oh, I see. Okay, so we do want it to be raw, and we just want to convert the date time to a string. And probably a UTC string would work just fine. Let's see here. Python date time to string. I just want the most simple one. What does that look like? I don't want stirf time, actually. Isn't there just a... Oh, wait, that's %y. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. What's... Do you folks remember what the name of the format is for the full the full, if I knew the name, I could ask you. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the standard way of representing a string, a date time?
Isn't it like %y, %m, %d?
Yeah. There's like a...
There's a name for that.
There's a name for when you convert something from a date time to like the ISO. Oh, it's like an ISO. Python.
ISO 400 or something.
ISO.
ISO 4000.
8601. That's the one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
Oh, there it is. .iso format. Go. Go, go, go. Save. One more time. Go.
Ooh.
That's exactly what we want.
Yay!
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It worked.
Can you check if there's 1,000 rows on this still?
Let's check. Yes, 1,000 still. So it did not insert an additional row.
Sweet.
Let's see what happens if you run it when there isn't enough rows. Because I want to know if we have to always remember to insert. Ah, yes. Love it. It just adds an additional row for us. Beautiful.
Google is so smart.
Oh, it's not. Is it Google? I guess it might be Google. I thought it might be the creator of the GSpread library, which is not Google.
Oh.
But it could be. So I think GSpread is a wrapper around the Google API. So it could be that Google is so smart. Okay, so we'll call this access date. And this one here is receipt date. Yep. Now, so we have log receipt date working. The next thing to do is access the bottom right value, because this is our previous receipt date. Agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's see how to do that. Okay, so we'll probably find that in here. So we had append row. Is there some function? We're looking for a function here. Let me share it with you folks in the chat. We're looking for a function here that will get us the last row without having to get all the rows, you know? It might make sense to just get all the rows. Find. No. Get. Get all. Okay, so we know we could do get all. Okay. There is a row count. So we know that this will allow us to know what the length of our spreadsheet is, and we can just pull the row count, like the last row, by using row count. So if we don't have a get last row, then we can always use that.
Mhm.
Okay. I believe that's the only way to go. Or I mean, that's the best way to go. Row count, and then, so we're going to read using row count. Okay, so log receipt date, and we have a function called get previous receipt date. Okay, so we're no longer using set previous receipt date because set previous receipt date, it has been replaced by our new beautiful log receipt date. and get previous receipt date is the one we're going to rewrite. So get previous receipt date needs to do the same work as this. So since I don't want to duplicate code, right? So what we'll do is we'll take these worksheets and we'll make this into a new function that just retrieves the worksheet. So let's call it get receipt USCIS receipt worksheet. Paste. And this basically returns the 0th worksheet. We can now use this function here. So we need to pass the worksheet here, WKS. And we need to retrieve the worksheet here, WKS. And then when we log the receipt, we need to make sure we pass WKS. Now, get previous receipt date. It needs to take the worksheet now. And it needs to do the things. WKS dot row count. So let's see here. I'm going to do it here because it'll be able to. VS Code is able to do, what's the word? Completion for me over here because it knows what WKS is, a worksheet, whereas it doesn't know what it is in the function up here. We can use annotations to do that, but I don't want to make things too complicated for people. So we're just going to say row count. So this is going to be the total number of rows, and we need to retrieve a specific cell. So what's the function for that? Probably something like get value. Yes, get values. Is there just a get value or get all values? Interesting. Returns a list containing all values from the specified range. Okay. Is there not just a regular? Interesting. Let me see if there's any other. Oh, there's just a get. Reads values of a single range or a cell. How is that different? These all sound exactly the same, don't they? Okay. Okay, let's just, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's comment some more code out and just do this. WKS dot get range name. And let's just pass it a single cell, which in our case will be B3. Let's see what happens if we get B3. Let's put a print. Run the script. Okay, that's exactly what we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's also print WKS dot row count. Okay, let's see what the value of this is. 3. Okay, this is awesome. We should just be able to say F. So we're going to make a formatted string. We know that it's the second column, so B. And we just need to do WKS row count. Run this. There's our previous value. And it looks like it's in an array of an array. So we should just be able to say 0, 0. And the reason I think it's an array of an array is because you can pass a range here. And so the range that it returns will be a square, essentially a square two-dimensional array. And so we want, and because we ask for a single cell, that's the sort of degenerate case where you have a square 2 by 2 array that only has one value in it. So we'll just get the 0th row and the 0th column. And save it. Test one more time. We like to test. Beautiful. Beautiful. We have our logic. It's a one-liner. Gotta love the one-liners. So get previous receipt date is just return this. Okay. Now, remove this code. Otherwise, we will overwrite access date with hello. Wow, isn't that interesting? Actually, the code that retrieves the previous receipt date and appends the receipt date is actually shorter than our previous version of the code that worked with a file. I mean, not exactly, because now we're doing this as well, but it's very close, right?
Very clean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we can get the current. We don't need to notify here. We can get the previous, right? We have the get the current, we have the get previous receipt date. That code should still work now. If current is not equal to previous, hold on, get previous needs to take WKS, so we need to make sure we pass that here. If they're not equal, then notify and here's the thing about the log. We always want a log, right? So we want to retrieve the current, we want to retrieve the previous and the current, check if they're not equal, and notify, and always log, because the whole idea here is every time the script runs, we want it to add an additional row at the end, right?
We don't,
What?
don't we?
Isn't it the
Don't
same?
we?
So,
Okay.
Go ahead, Niwako.
go ahead.
Oh no, do we need a record of every day? My idea originally was just to know how many days it takes them to update their progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I would want a row for every day,
Mm-hmm.
because I can always, like, let's say that they update the receipt date today, and then the next time will be like next month.
Mm-hmm.
I just need today and then next month's date, and then later I can just subtract.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, in 30 days, they moved from February 5th to March 5th. So that's like, you can do that calculation.
Mm. So that's a good point. I think it's the reason why I'm doing it this way is, well, I guess you could just indent it like this, but it really doesn't cost us much to have this run like this every day. We'll just because we'll always be able to see when was the last time we retrieved data, We'll always be able to scroll down to the bottom and see, okay, this last ran at this specific time, So it gives us, we have the ability to just see a log of everything, every time this function ran. And because it's going to run once per day, it won't actually get that long. This file will have 365 rows after it's been running for a year,
Sure.
So, and it still won't even be at the default size of a normal spreadsheet. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal. We don't have to optimize that particularly at this moment, I would say.
Okay.
What were you saying, Shua?
Oh, well, you guys covered it, but it sounds like there's kind of, from the engineering perspective, you care about column A, that it runs every day, but from a usefulness perspective,
Mm-hmm.
you would want to reduce the rows for duplication. Like, is a good compromise then to like, instead of appending a value each day, even though column B doesn't change, to just update A3 for every time you run it? So then if from an engineering perspective, you look at the code and you see like a date in A3 that's like 5 days ago, you know the code didn't run.
So from the engineering perspective, like it all depends on the scale of things, right? So um, my idea here is that since it's not running all that often, it doesn't like it's not something I'm worried about needing to optimize. Now, if we knew that this was executing like every second, right? Then I might take a different approach, because every second there might be too much contention on this Google Sheet. We may not even be able to use a Google Sheet if it's running every second.
Yep.
If it's running every minute, we probably can continue to use a Google Sheet, but now it will get very long, and we may not be able to open the Google Sheet anymore after a certain amount of time, or the app might crash after a certain amount of time. Like like maybe I believe there is a max limit on the number of rows that can be in a Google Sheet, and we'll probably hit that if we were doing minutes. So from the engineering perspective, because I know that this won't run, it's only running once a day, unless something goes wrong, like we end up in some sort of infinite loop or something. Unless that happens, this is okay, because you're storing all the data, and then if you want to dedupe, you can easily write a query on this Google Sheet that will get you, like, for example, you can say, give me the first row for every unique value of receipt date. Give me the first access date for every unique value of receipt date. That's a query you can write. And then you can construct the output data you care about.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but in general, there's a rule in engineering, which is don't prematurely optimize. That's the rule I'm currently applying here. You only have to optimize if you know that there's going to be problems if you do it some other way. You know?
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting discussion. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, let's give it a try. So this code is now actually sort of done. I foresee a problem deploying it though, but it's done. Let's see. Print. I want to print current here so that I can see more. I'm going to get the notification on my phone as well, but I kind of want to see I want to see the command line tell me stuff. All right, so let's go. Okay, so it didn't print it out, which means that I'm not going to be sent a notification, but it did log the update. Right? And more specifically, if I delete these rows, it is not possible to delete all non-frozen rows. Oh, interesting. Okay. Sounds good. Let's unfreeze the rows then. Delete rows. Okay. Let's give it a try again. All right. Oh, I'm getting some feedback. And I got my notification. Okay, beautiful. All right, what do you folks think?
Looks good.
Yeah. All right, so let's think about the deployment. So the reason why I think there's going to be a problem is because the cloud function is allowed to run using the service account that's been assigned to it. But let me show you what I mean. Let's go over there. Let's go to cloud functions. Recent cloud functions. Oh boy, hold on. This is not what I want. Let's pin this. Okay, Cloud Functions. So this Cloud Function, if we click on it, we can see that it runs as this service account, right? And this service account is what we granted access to our Google Sheet. So this is exactly what we want. But what we observed is when we wrote this script, we had to say gspread.serviceAccount, and we had to tell it where the service account file is, right? It didn't just know that it already had access to the service account. And I don't know how to tell gspread that it should just try to do things as the current user in the Cloud Function. So we could try to deploy it and just see if it works. Maybe.
Is your worry that line 49 breaks?
Yes. Almost certainly it breaks. But maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Is it because Google doesn't know the Google application credentials because that's a local file on your computer?
I guess the answer to that is I don't know how the Cloud Function authenticates its itself. Like, so for example, I do this thing where I say client.secret version path, right? No, sorry. I do client is secret manager dot secret manager service client. This just knows what its permissions
secret version path.
Oops, this just knows. It just knows which service account it's running as. I didn't have to tell it where the file is located.
I see.
And the reason is because I exported Google application credentials. But when I tried to do that with gspread, it really wanted to know where the credential file was.
See.
So the question is, I know what to do. Hold on. Let's see here. Let's just ask the internet. Gspread, Google Cloud Function Service Account. Go. Is there a way with the default service account? Cloud Function has runtime service account feature which allows you to use default service account. Okay. Wait, that got 0 votes though. Okay, I think this is the answer. Should we try it? Just try some copy paste.
Good old copy paste.
Yep. Okay. It also got 0 upvotes though. I don't trust it. Okay. Let's comment some more code out. Put this here. Technically, I don't need this scopes thing. Let's leave it. Okay. Let's do these things. So I'm just going to hack some stuff together. WKS dot append row, and we're just going to have it append ABC and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I'm no longer creating. I see, you just call authorize. This is using OAuth 2 credentials. This is almost certainly wrong. Okay, let's try. Oh. Oh, I was wrong. It totally works. Totally works. Totally works. Okay. Beautiful.
Why did you think it would be wrong?
Because when you mouse over authorize here, it says log into Google API using OAuth 2 credentials. I'm not using OAuth 2 credentials. I am using a service account. So the documentation for it seemed to indicate this is for a thing that I'm not using.
Got it.
Okay, I want to see what would happen if I do it like this. Because, ooh, I see. Okay, so it needs that. Good to know. Let's put this. All right, we're basically done. We put this here. We don't need to authorize with the service account anymore. And remove this code. Uncomment. Save. Run again. All right, we're done. This is it.
Nice.
Yeah, let's deploy our script. Copy. Head over.
Do you have to do the parameter thing?
This
like the main.
This part down here.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've already done it, so we don't have to do it again.
Got it.
So this one here was for running locally, and the cloud function needed this to run in its own environment.
So the same code works both places now.
Yes, that's my whole goal. Like, I like to make sure that in order to be able to iterate quickly when you're there's this notion in software that faster iteration times, like you doing a thing and then trying it out, makes you more productive. And so, like, you should always, that's not, I don't want to make it a rule, but it's kind of a rule of thumb. You should always invest some amount of effort to ensure that you can run things quickly, test things out quickly, if you want to maximize your productivity.
Makes sense.
All right. Especially in this case, because deploying takes like it can take as long as 2 minutes. If you had to wait 2 minutes between every attempt at trying out a piece of code, basically you're here forever, you know?
At my previous job at Amazon, I would frequently run into situations where I needed something to be fixed quickly. And then the ticket response would be, we're doing like rolling deployments worldwide. It'll be 24 hours before you can get the worldwide fix. Is that standard?
That's actually an amazing turnaround time.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I don't know how much I'm allowed to actually talk about this, but Google turnaround time for a feature fix, like, is unless the priority has been raised really high, right? It's like anywhere from like 4 days to 14 days to get something out.
How would you make it faster? So, like, let's say it's the highest level possible and it's business critical. How do you make it from 4 days to like 6 hours?
It's really hard. The reason why things take a long time is because there are greater risks with deploying something than just like you accidentally breaking something. Like there's so many things that may not be caught, and and every change that you make runs through a whole set of validation steps. You want to make sure, for example, that the change you made will not suddenly increase the amount of memory you're using or suddenly cause your compute to explode, right? Even
Yep.
if it's a bug fix. And you also want to make sure that the change you made doesn't cause problems under load. So like if you have lots of users suddenly using it, it behaves really like a lot worse than it did in your test environment where you didn't have that many users, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in order to test these things, you have to put your changes into an environment where they can be, the word is canarying. You put it into an environment where it will run for like 24 hours and you'll pass it some portion of the traffic, which will essentially validate whether or not your code is behaving the same way as the original production code, right? Has the same like CPU and memory characteristics, or doesn't change by that much, you know?
I see.
Yeah, and so like because and some of these tests, they like in order to get statistical significance, you need a certain amount of traffic to pass through your new change, and due to all of these validation steps, it can take a very long time to get a change all the way out to prod. Okay, so our deployment failed, but I don't know why. View logs. Looks transient currently. Oh, no module named gspread. Makes sense. Okay, not transient. I made a mistake.
Ooh, it's the save requirements .text file
Yeah, you got it.
thing.
That's exactly why. Fix time. This is, I think, this is an instance where deploying from the command line is much better. Edit. So we remembered to deploy. Remembered to. Okay, so save that there, and copy paste this bit from script. Okay, one more time. Deploy.
Oh, you're actually deploying the code, not the files. So you have to copy paste to get it into the UI.
Correct. Whereas if we could just type a command here to deploy the folder called CF to this cloud function, and that would be more reliable than what I'm currently doing.
Right, because you could have like tens of files.
Yeah, and that would just be horrible. Yeah. Maybe we should. No, it's okay. We're nearly done the stream, so I think this will be it. But next time we can deploy with the command line. I even have my cheat sheet ready to go, so we could do it. My cheat sheet right here. Scroll into the bottom. Here it is, my beautiful deploy function. It's so great. Okay. There, done. Time to test. Okay, so we've got 2 rows. If we run, we should get 3 rows. That didn't work. Why didn't that work? You know what it looks like. Just like my hypothesis is that it ran the old cloud function.
Oh.
Because the old cloud function would always notify. Hold on, let's double check the code. Is this the new code? It is the new code. Okay. Let's just try again. transient. Cloud things, man. They can be transient. Because everything's async, you know? Run. Yeah. New code's working. Isn't that amazing? It just worked.
Wow.
Inserted a new row. And no notification because this
Name
continues
receipt
to
date.
match. That's it. Project done. Finished.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool too. Are you there, Niwako? What did you think? Nope, not there. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, internets, for watching. Thanks, Shua, for coming.
Thanks for showing me all this stuff.
Oh, Niwako
Appreciate it.
unmuted. Thanks, Niwako. Okay.
Sorry, I was talking.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry. Let's. Sorry. What was your thought? What did you think?
It was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And I learned a new thing today too. How to do the auth using the Cloud Function's default credentials. That was valuable to me. All right. See you at the next one then.
Is that tomorrow? November 1st?
It is. Yeah, but
Cool.
a different topic. We're going to be going back to JavaScript crash course.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, Shua. Thanks, Niwako.
Thank you.
Okay.
6 p.m.
Yes. Bye, internets.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
Have a great